So, Spaces. Spaces is a cloud-based software that connects artists to physical space. It's really that simple. Both space to create your work and space to present your work. It was built by Fractured Atlas, which I mentioned is a national nonprofit art service organization, and it was built upon a database that Exploring the Metropolis maintained over a number of years. We acquired it in 2008 and envisioned it as an online marketplace. So if you're not aware of Exploring the Metropolis, they're another really great organization and resource specifically for residencies that you can apply to, so put them on your radar. The reason why we built it is because artists spend a lot of resources trying to find and rent space. Emotional resources, it's very frustrating. Oh, it is very blurry, that projector. Just time, money, and energy that could be spent somewhere else. On the venue side of things, venues' marketing dollars really needed to be spent on their internal programming. However, their earned revenue for their business really relies on that rental. So we felt those two stakeholders, that technology could provide a solution and help both of them. So that's why we built it. Today we're going to be looking at NYC Performing Arts Spaces, but the Spaces software itself also powers Philly Space Finder, Austin Venue Menu, Space Finder in LA, in fact 10 sites nationwide and growing. So each one of those unique communities being built off of being powered by our software. At its heart, NYC Performing Arts Spaces is a venue directory, but it's more than your standard garden variety directory. It's unique, and I'm going to show you why today. There are 5 different ways that you can be matched to space. You can filter for space, you can browse through the interactive map or paging through, you can sort your results by capacity or seating capacity or size, you can do keyword search, and then good old-fashioned help. You can click the help button and get me, because I'm going to answer your question. In terms of really talking about it as an online marketplace, to going from a database to an online marketplace, the key drivers for competitive space, especially in New York, and affordable space, are location, rate, and availability. So being able to search for up-to-date availability of a rehearsal or performance space, or even a meeting space, special event space, workshop space, and that availability piece is the most recent for us, and the one that we're most excited about. So you could go to the site, you can search available to book, the date and the time. It will filter through all of the venues who have synced their rentals calendars to their free rental listing. And not that the rental's free, the listing's free. And then I'll show you results. We found 22 spaces that match your criteria available to book October 2nd, 7 to 10. So just take a moment and think about how much time that may have spent you calling around with phone tag and email tag, just even finding out if the space is available, let alone whether or not the other amenities that would work for you. When you click through to the listing itself, you just very clearly see is it available or not. So it's not giving details about whether it's an internal event or another artist booking the space or whatever. It's really nice and clean. And then many of the listings are also using our book online option where it's going through our system. In terms of browsing, I mentioned the interactive map. So you might be using the filter to really narrow down, like to go from all 300 spaces in Brooklyn to just the ones that are available. Thank you, 5. You can just click through geographically, sort of browse in that way and go straight through to the listing. And then over here, sort is really helpful in terms of maybe I want to look at all the venues in Queens, and I want to know ones that are only $500 a night, but then I also want to sort by seating capacity. So I don't want to limit the options, I want to sort the options. So that's filter, sort, and one of the ways to browse. And then keyword search, and I love being actually able to tell people to use it in this way because it's not often used on the site in this way. We have 20 filters and 100 space attributes. It's like so many different ways you could be matched to space. But there's often things that you're looking for that aren't in what we figured out, right? So if you're looking for something as simple as a church, it's going to give you the 68 churches that are listing with us currently. If you're looking for something very specific that has to do with your artwork, you need a 5,000 lumen projector. It's going to search our equipment inventories for those venues and give you the results of venues that do that. Equipment inventories being keyword indexed is a very new feature for us. So if you go to the site right now, there's going to be one venue that has a 5,000 lumen projector that you can rent. Of course, more venues in New York offer that. So that's relatively new in terms of equipment. If you're looking for something very niche, like aerial or circus, you can use those keywords and be matched to space, even though we don't necessarily have a filter for them. And then I like to think of creatively, if you're looking for a space, you're trying to discover a space that has a certain vibe, and you can get pretty creative about how to discover those spaces. So a studio that might have a cat might give you a different vibe if you're looking for a rehearsal space. And there are, in fact, actually 3 that list with us that bother to let you know that there's going to be a cat in the studio. So I'm doing it as a joke, but also just, sort of to say, think about the different ways to be matched to space in a creative way. Even in a strategic way. If you're looking to maybe work with collaborators or neighborhood organizations or venues that are outside of your perceived discipline, or a certain area of New York where you're trying to, or you're trying to reach, this resource can be used in that way. And then help, like I said, if you click help, you're going to get me. Those are my Foursquare badges because I physically have checked into 53 of the venues listed with our site. So often there's information you need about a space that's not in their listing, or it's a type of space that you're just not finding. Click that help button, that's what I'm there for, and if I can help you, I will. Recently, the Next Web reviewed our app and related it to Open Table for rehearsal space, which we were excited, but very quickly in these last 2 minutes, I'm going to squeeze in that doesn't quite capture the full picture, because what we're doing for venues with the Spaces software is incredibly affordable and helpful. So we're going to look at Jack. Jack is a new space in Clinton Hill, artist-owned and operated, one space, a multi-use space. And using our Spaces software, he's able to have these things for his business. Increased reach in terms of using our marketplace of NYC Performing Arts Spaces. It's searched 1,000 times a day. And finding targeted renters for his space. Accepting credit cards to be able to take that payment. Sending receipts and notifications to those renters automatically, which includes this great feature where 12 hours before the new renter's rental, they get an email with contact info and a map and a reminder when their rental is. And then, of course, a database of those renters. So people who are working in cash and check aren't necessarily able to, can be incredibly inefficient and aren't able to necessarily have those business tools. That's all for 20 bucks a month and 5% of rental transactions, and that includes a free Fractured Atlas membership. Venues that are using our Spaces software also can take advantage of that. I will say very quickly, even though I'm getting the Wrap It Up single, that our business model at Fractured Atlas in terms of developing software, we receive funding for R&D, for research and development, and then we're required to find an earned revenue model. So this very affordable pricing for venues that want to sync their calendar or use online booking is what keeps the resource free to search and free to list. And that's how we're able to do this in communities all across the United States. If you want to get involved, go to the website, create a free account as a renter, create a free listing as a venue, and participate in the forums and help us keep it awesome. Finally, these are testimonials from DC Facefinder. This is the one that, as a project manager, hit me the most. Actually recognizing that we were just building something that was useful to them. So if you want to keep track of what we're building that is useful, you can find us at Fractured Atlas, and if you want to talk to me personally, I'm at Ms. Remixed. Thank you.